Disregard females and acquire currency.
Everybody, welcome to Downballot. We do this show most Tuesday nights. I think this is the first time we've done it two Tuesday nights in a row in a while. I don't know. Fucking who cares? You can support this project at echoplexmedia.com. Click the support link at the top of the website, and you can make your own decisions from there. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave. And assuming I get this podcast out in time for this to be something you can act upon if you're in the Reading area, I'll be at the Vault in Reading on the 21st of this month, rocking the fucking militia discotheque. What's up, Councilman?
I'm just excited about the militia discotheque. I can't wait for that. I'm gonna get my dancing shoes on, get my Birkenstocks rolling. Anyway, this is the Councilman with you as always. Happy to be joining you live from the Bad Baby's bedroom. Got the bluey sheets back here. I got the stuffies over this shoulder here.
I saw you
And,
fucking with the light beforehand. I'm like, man, there ain't shit you're gonna do with that light. But good job fucking opening the mirrored closet door.
Yeah, that was the best thing I could do. And I've got the other light over here in the other mirror the closet. So I'll work out the lighting situation before we come on next week. But yeah, the good wife and I are renovating the house. So we moved in with my in-laws. That's exciting enough.
Oh, great. You just had a kid and you're renovating your home. That sounds exciting.
Oh,
that sounds
spoiler.
like fucking excellent timing. Good job. Good job. You guys are great. This is the kind of family planning they don't talk about at Planned Parenthood.
Absolutely not. But yeah, spoiler alert. Just Sunday, the good wife also gave birthies to our bad baby 2.0. So they're all downstairs right now with Lola and Lolo and hanging out. A lot of women vibes down there, except for Grandpa. Unfortunately, he's all alone. So I got to go down and relieve him at some point. But yeah, we decided we would do all the things that normally break up couples by renovating the house and having a child. And I think we should probably just change jobs at the same time. That would just make it a trifecta. But
you could both lose your jobs at the same time. Actually, I'm not trying to fucking like make that happen here in the world, but that wouldn't be bad.
That almost happened like about a year apart, not too long ago. We both royally fucked up and got demoted or lost our jobs. So it's entirely possible that could happen. But for now, we're okay. We're gainfully employed. The good wife is on leave, so she's enjoying some freedom, but now she has no freedom because she's got a whiny little alien thing attached to her pretty much all the time that wants to be fed. So anyway, really exciting times here in the Councilman good wife household. But I'm really excited to be on Downballot this week. We got a lot to cover, and we can jump right into it with a story you put on the docket. I think producer David's following up on last week's story about Mayor Ed 210 up in San Francisco. His security detail got into a little fracas with someone on the streets of the Tenderloin, and we're going to hear about the fallout of that from Fox 2 local news.
And the man caught on camera fighting with San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie's security detail is set to be released from jail in a matter of hours. Let's go to KTVU's Christian Catherine.
I was rooting for him. He body slammed that motherfucker.
It's good news for him. Let's hear the story.
In the courtroom today, where that man also entered a plea of not guilty today. Christian.
Yeah, for now, that defendant will remain behind bars, but it is likely that he will be released from custody sometime in the early morning hours tomorrow morning. Now, this decision came after the judge reviewed video of the incident, and it's now clear that video will be critical for both sides in this case, the prosecutors and defense. By now, this video on TikTok of the scuffle last Thursday involving members of San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie.
Oh, hell no. Oh, fuck no. Homeboy was trying to walk away. You started that fight, suit man.
Right. And I think that's the mayor right there in the suit. Right over here on the right.
44-year-old Tony Phillips entered a not guilty plea in court to assault on a law enforcement officer charges. Following that, his attorney asked that he be released, saying he was not the aggressor and urging the judge to review this video. After viewing the video, visiting Superior Court Judge Sylvia Husing agreed and released Phillips on his own recognizance.
I think this is the first step to justice in this case. The judge said it herself. Mr. Phillips was attacked.
In court, Phillips' attorney argued that, quote, the mayor lured his security detail to engage, all for political theatrics. Phillips' attorney argued that the mayor's vehicle
they didn't show the whole thing.
Section of Cedar and Larkin, and that the mayor himself got out and told Phillips and 33-year-old Abraham Simon to, quote, move along. Phillips' attorney showed video to the judge of what happened next. Phillips began arguing with the mayor's security detail, but Phillips' attorney said that it was the mayor's detail that initiated physical contact, shoving his client to the ground. In addition to his client's release, he's asking the district attorney to take a hard look at this case.
And the second request that I made was for the DA to look into this case and look very closely to determine whether justice actually means continuing this prosecution against Mr. Phillips.
Prosecution paperwork details the incident, saying Phillips was argumentative and that the officer identified himself and that, quote, Mr. Phillips then stepped towards the mayor, so Officer A positioned himself between Mr. Phillips and Mayor Lurie. Mr. Phillips suddenly and aggressively got very close to Officer A, less than 10 inches, and said, Bruce Lee, I'll kick your ass. shoved Mr. Phillips away from him with both hands to defend himself and to create distance, causing Mr. Phillips to fall backward onto the sidewalk. The mayor said he couldn't discuss details of the incident, but did say the reason he stopped in the first place was out of concern.
I went to see what was going on and to ask if they needed help, but also to ask them to get off the street because I was worried about their safety and I was worried about the safety of people around them.
Now, Phillips is set to appear tomorrow on several misdemeanor charges not associated with this case. In court, the prosecutor argued for him to remain in custody because he has repeatedly missed court dates over the past 10 months. Phillips' attorney said he will work to get him to court tomorrow and into stable housing. His next scheduled appearance for the incident caught on camera is in mid-April. We're live in San Francisco. Christian Cafton, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
So what I saw was that guy trying to leave. It looked like he was like, all right, I'm just going to get out of here. This is still like, because, you know, he was like arguing with the guy. There was some sort of confrontation, like verbal confrontation, it looked like, but then It looked like he was just trying to leave.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, sticks and stones, right? De-escalation is supposed to be about, you know, have an argument, but like this guy was not being physically aggressive. He certainly wasn't getting anywhere near the mayor, and he wasn't being physically aggressive towards his bodyguards either. It seems like the violence and the physicality was completely initiated by the mayor's detail. So they're going to have some answering to do here. It's unfortunate that the man in question is the one who's charged, right? So they have to sort of prove, his attorney has to disprove that his client was at fault, and then they have to flip it around and either sue or, prove that the mayor's detail initiated this, because I think they have a perfectly legit case there for assault, because it looks like exactly what happened, at least on video, without hearing the audio. I mean, I don't care if he called the guy's mother, an MF or whatever. Like, it's just not. It's not what you do, right? Especially if you're on the mayor's detail, right? There's always a camera somewhere these days. Like, you got to be more thoughtful and be more respectful and de-escalate the situation. Why are you trying to make more violence?
Also, like, this contradicts what Lori said, this new video, because we had a different angle. I think the angle wasn't from above last week. I think the angle was from street level last week, and we only saw basically the cool part where the guy Bruce Lee wouldn't body slam him. That would be like the Undertaker or the Ultimate Warrior, right?
Yeah, this is more like a pile driver for those of you who used to watch WWF back in the day, right? Like, that's exactly what that looked like. But it was a great move.
It contradicts what Lori said, that he, like, as soon as the confrontation started, he like ran away like a little bitch or whatever, and that doesn't seem to be what he did at all. He was like standing like a few feet behind, like he's in the middle of the fucking street. If I saw correctly on the,
right.
He's like, I was worried about that guy standing in the middle of the street. So I had my security detail initiate a confrontation with him while I stand in the middle of the street.
Right, and as if you saw from the footage later, like the B-roll footage, not a very busy intersection. In fact, it looked like an alley coming into a street, so it wasn't exactly heavily trafficked. So the mayor's detail is probably the only one driving down the street in the first place. They just wanted to get somewhere, and dude was standing in the street maybe, and they were just telling him, move along. And then it escalated to this. Like, that's just ridiculous.
And like I was saying last week, like, if you live in the neighborhood and you have to park there, okay, but people don't, like, it's not that, oh, I'm terrified to drive through the Tenderloin. It's just like those streets in there aren't like kind of throughways of the city. Like, just a little ways up, like they're either side, you have like ways to go north, because this is just north of Market. It's the TL. It's just north of Market. These were not the streets that you use to, like, I don't know, get to Nob Hill, right?
Sure.
They're not the streets that you use to get up the hill north. These are like mostly pedestrian. I mean, these streets usually don't have cars on them. Like I said, it's not because the Tenderloin's scary and they're going to firebomb your car. It's just there's like way better ways to get places in San Francisco. And like you said, it looked like the intersection was like between like a street and maybe an alley.
Right, or just one of those San Francisco streets that basically is an alley, just happens to have a name, right? And right. I would imagine Mr. Phillips, as a resident of the Tenderloin, whether he's living on the street or off the street, probably knows a thing or two about navigating himself around on foot in the Tenderloin, probably a little better than Prissy Pants Daniel Lurie, I would imagine, who probably never set foot in the Tenderloin before he was mayor. I don't know that the mayor needs to be doling out advice in terms of keeping someone safe, right?
Yeah, I think there's a way in which he wanted to, like, this is just like it was like some fucking white savior shit. Like, he wanted to like maybe get some kind of thing where he could tell a story about a man he saw in the street in the Tenderloin, and he and his security detail selflessly on our way to another event, we saw this man. He was standing out there, and he might have gotten run over, and we got him onto the sidewalk. And instead, whoopsie poopsie, your security guard ended up on his back in the fucking crosswalk after initiating a physical confrontation with this dude, like a fucking skinny ass motherfucker too. Like,
right. We bought the guy. We bought him a donut, and we got him off the street. We got him to a shelter. I'm sure that was the story, that was the narrative that was coming there. Well, I really do hope the script flips on this, and that this guy can turn it around and sue, because that's ridiculous to have to deal with that. You're just minding your own business. You're doing your thing. You're in your neighborhood, and some couple suits come along and tell you to move along, like this is some sort of police state or something. Like, well, I guess it is a police state in San Francisco.
Yeah, I told him to move along. Like, move along where?
Right. This is my home, yo. This is where I live. It's obviously he's living right there.
He moves too far along, he's going to be in your neighborhood, and then you're going to call the cops on him again.
Right, exactly. So we will continue to follow this story for sure on Downballot.
The comments. Sure. The comments on that YouTube video, like on the YouTube, are pretty great, because it like basically split into two groups of people, and you know what the motivations are. One group of people, it's just like, oh, why did homeboy like shove that guy like that? Like, that's they assaulted that man. And the other people are like, get him. The judge lets out all the criminals in the city, and it's just like, dude, that guy was the victim.
Right. Yeah. This is why we live in a hellhole like this, is they're putting criminals back on the street.
This motherfucker yelling about the San Francisco's a hellhole. They're yelling about that shit from Concord or something, right?
Yeah. Right. Sausalito. Anyway, for a little Bay Area humor for you guys who know the geography of the Bay Area. Anyway, we'll keep following that. That's leading off, and just a lovely little story that's going to probably keep on giving. It's one of those gifts that's just going to keep on going. Anyway, I think that guy, you would think the mayor would be angry at his security guard for starting a fight with a random homeless guy in the Tenderloin and then getting body slammed. Like, it's just a bad look all around, right? One would think, but if obviously he was right there, right? The mayor was right there, so it's like, he
lied. He said as soon as the guy, like, he acted. Do you remember last week's show? Yeah. He said he like ran away and like made sure like. I got tried to get shelter. Yeah. No, he was like spectating the fight, man. He was like fight like a fucking teenager.
He looked like the boss, like the mob boss, right? Sort of standing off to the side of a cockfight or something. Like, yeah, go get him. Yeah, get him. I'll take your bets. He's like,
if I was running against Daniel Lurie in the next election, I would just have like a Twitch channel that just runs that on loop.
Oh, for show,
including the body slam.
Mayor Ed 210 trying to be a good Samaritan, and look what happened. Anyway, well, let's move on to, if there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser there. Let's move on to winners and losers, where usually there are.
I think the one that we're rooting for might win on that story, so it doesn't belong in winners and losers.
Let's keep it in leading off then, or maybe it'll be under get your shit together later if the mayor ends up getting some egg on his face from that.
Organic eggs.
Of course, free range. Those ones that are like multicolored, right? Like brown and blue and, all sorts of colored eggs, right? Not white. So there's another story you found for the docket, producer Dave, and I think it hits close to home for you as a bicyclist.
I think I'm going to come down different on this than you might think.
Oh, okay. Well, so Caltrain is looking to get more room for people on their trains, and so they're going to be cutting back on, it looks like, certain types of bikes, but we're going to find out more about it from KPIX. Or KPIX, if that's your preferred nomenclature.
Caltrans says its ridership is up 30% over the last year, but with more riders, there's more complaints. There's not enough room for bikes because of all the varieties of sizes. Now, the agency is talking about a ban on some oversized bikes. Our Suji Nam spoke to one parent who says that could upset his whole commute.
Matt Sorgenfry hops on Caltrain at the San Francisco station 2 to 3 times a week.
I have a single bike seat on the back here for one of the boys. I have 2 sons who both really like their bike.
He bikes his kids to school before taking Caltrain down to the peninsula for work.
You can see there's bungee cords and positions for basically 4 bikes on each side.
When he hops off, it's a 5-minute bike ride to work. But soon, his commuting ritual could change.
Doors are closing.
Sorgenfrey said he was concerned when he recently heard one of the conductors on the speaker.
He was making this announcement that no longer will bike seats be allowed. Any kind of cargo carrier of any kind will also be allowed.
While nothing has been decided yet, Caltrain officials are considering a plan that would ban oversized bikes, including bikes that are over 6 feet long or tires more than 3 inches wide.
We've also been getting an increasing number of complaints of people who found it, difficult to navigate around these larger vehicles and thought they were taking up too much space on board.
Dan Lieberman with Caltrain says they average about 7,600 bikers on board every weekday. He adds that trains have become more crowded lately. A good problem to have in one aspect, but coming at a price for some.
Original intention was looking at larger e-bikes, which really take up a lot of space. Clearly, parents have reached out and they felt that they were being unfairly targeted in there. So really, we want to have a big old conversation with our whole bike community, make sure everyone's, make sure we hear everyone out.
Sorgenfrey says they're a one-car household, and so his bike setup, that he says is less than 6 feet, works for his family. Otherwise,
maybe walk and lose that time. Maybe I would pay for a lift, which kind of defeats the purpose of mass transit, where I would get a lift just from the station to my office.
Caltrain officials say they have about 500 bike lockers across all stations. But Sorgenfrey adds that the cost and efficiency of storing a backup bike in the peninsula won't be feasible.
There's got to be some solution.
Cost. It's 5 cents an hour.
Their kids on their bikes.
I'm not kidding. It's 5 cents an hour.
Also being able to accommodate all of the workday travelers, such as myself.
In the meantime, you'll find Sorgenfrey on his bright orange bike, strolling down San Antonio Station.
Caltrain is holding a meeting on the proposed ban Thursday night in San Carlos. You can join in person or virtually.
So that guy's bike shouldn't be banned. There's no reason it should be banned. It's not this monstrosity. I am telling you that, some of these people, they have these giant fucking e-bikes that are basically an electric motorcycle.
Sure, I've seen them on the road. Absolutely.
And those, you can't fit 4 bikes in that station if you have one of those there. You just can't. This guy, I don't even know if he's got a 5-minute ride to his office from the fucking Caltrain station. I don't know why this motherfucker needs an electric bike either, but his would be fine. Right, his is small. They were talking about banning a car seat on the back or a kid seat on the back of the bike. They're not going to do that. It doesn't make it take up more space and make it a bigger pain in the ass, in the bike storage, right? Because the bike seat's up above where the other bikes are and doesn't prevent you from adding another bike. But yeah, you put one of those monster ass e-bikes there that's I don't know, half the size of a fucking motorcycle. Now that's the only bike you can probably fit in that space where 4 bikes would go otherwise. So yeah, they could just add another bike car though too. That's the other thing. There's really nothing stopping them. It's not like they only have as many bike cars as fucking trains are currently moving right now.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know what that deal is in terms of length of stations, right, and the length of trains and being able to accommodate that whole situation. I'm sure there are some parameters there. But yeah, I agree with you there. It's certainly a bad look to be banning, family bikes with kids seats. No matter even if it was a problem, right? There's no way that a public agency is going to ban kids kid seats on bikes. That's just an awful look. You would get slammed and just roasted for that one by the voters, by everyone. So anyway, I tend to agree with you there. And I've seen these kind of monstrosity e-bikes out there, and it's almost man, you can fly so well on the thing. Why are you taking the train in the first place? Just hop on the freeway and commute like a normal person.
You can't get on the freeway, but and even this guy, I don't see I don't see why he's needs an electric, but he's it's a 5-minute ride to work. Motherfucker, just pedal the bicycle.
Yeah, right. Not that hard. It's really what it's all supposed to be about anyway. Get some exercise, right? Get some steps in. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the e-bikes anyway. I'm sort of it's a bike. You should bike. I don't really think of it as biking. It's more like scootering with a bike format, right? Just a different application. So yeah, and I'm also not a regular Caltrain rider. I will admit I'm not a regular transit user, and I'm not a regular cyclist or bicyclist. So I'm probably not the best to opine in this situation, but I tend to side with you, Producer Dave, in this regard. I think you're on the right track.
Right, just be reasonable. Don't bring a giant bicycle onto the train. Like,
absolutely.
Or don't do that. Or like during commute, don't do that.
Yeah, it's similar to. I mean, I understand obviously the prices being what they are on planes these days, but we travel a bit by plane, and it's like when you're packing economically and you're trying to get all your stuff into a nice, decent sized bag that'll fit in the overhead compartment, right? And then you see someone who obviously like maximize the inch in width and the height and width limits.
Oh, it's a marketing thing
limits.
they do. Yeah, this is the biggest bag you can carry. They market them specifically.
Right.
This is the most. This fits perfectly in the thing that they check to make sure your bag's not too big.
Right. It takes up the whole, one whole compartment. And I'm up there shifting mine around to try and maximize space for other people because I'm trying to be considerate, right? And then someone just rolls down there. Oh, excuse me. And they're bumping everyone with their big ass monstrosity bag. It's I definitely get it from that perspective too. It's like share the load, share the road, share the train, share the load, and try to be respectful of other people. That's all I say.
Yep.
Anyway,
let's move on here. And up next, we got Oakland. People have mixed opinions on the speed cameras here in Oakland. I too have mixed opinions on them because I live somewhere where people drive by real fast in a place where they should not. So,
well, let's see what's going on with this story, and we'll talk about it on the other side, as they say.
Big changes in downtown Oakland. To make things safer for pedestrians, speed trap cameras will now be enforced. Suji Nam heard from some drivers already feeling the sting.
3 of my family members were issued warnings, and we're advised that there will be citations today. If they make the mistake again.
Mike is from East Oakland, and his family has been impacted by the city's new speeding cameras.
I've been really cautious driving down 98th. There's a couple of them, and I've seen them. So I drive cautious.
The city of Oakland has begun issuing citations for speeding on Sunday, where cameras across 18 locations can detect a driver going 11 miles or more than the posted speed limit. In early January, the city had launched a program with a 60-day warning period, issuing 140,000 speed warnings.
I'm just feeling like this is a total speed trap. Like Broadway, people going 20 miles per hour on Broadway is unheard of. So I don't like it.
We caught up with Edward L. Woolley by 27th and Broadway, one of the intersections with speeding cameras. He says everyone needs to drive carefully, but he doesn't agree with the city's plan.
Thousands of cars drive through here daily. People coming to pick up kids. It's all type of stuff going on right here. So they got all the speed limits posted 20 miles per hour and everything, but nobody's thinking to go 20 miles per hour down Broadway.
Gabriel Bick, who is also from Oakland, says he notices distracted and speedy drivers, especially along 23rd Street. He hopes the city will provide more clarification about citations.
Traffic calming measures are positive. I know, from talking to my neighbors, there have been some complaints about, the specific implementation in terms of where the speed limit changes, and that being potentially a bit confusing.
City officials reassure that no videos are captured, only photos, and that those images would only be kept for 5 days if there is no violation issued, and 60 days if there is a violation issued. Mike says all of this can be avoided by doing just this.
My best advice for the commuters is wake up a little earlier. Don't be in a rush, last minute things, try to beat the traffic.
A safety measure that has some neighbors divided, but united in the goal of protecting pedestrian and drivers on the road.
The cameras will snap a picture of the rear license plate and mail a ticket to the registered owner. Officials say they will track whether speeding and citations drop over time.
There's one problem with that is what if you let somebody else borrow your car or your kids drive it? Oh, I don't know. I think they're wrong. Broadway is a major thoroughfare. It's not you're not supposed to be using. It's not a commuter plate. It's Broadway. It's there's tons of pedestrians out on Broadway, especially as the numbers go down, as the numbered street go down. You once you're past about 19th, as the numbers get smaller, there's fucking people everywhere, and you need to slow the fuck down.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, if you watch this clip, it's all about a matter of perspective, right? So you've got dude in the big truck who's like, yeah, I want to be able to go as fast as I can, but whatever, man. It's Broadway, and yeah, of course you're saying that in the big old tank, right? And then you've got the pedestrian who's obviously a walking commuter who's like, yeah, it'd be great if people slowed down, right? It'd be better for us. And then you got the dude on the street who's just like, yeah, everybody just, chill out, leave your home earlier, get, don't be in such a rush, right? It's all a matter of perspective, what you think about these things. I used to, as far as the police state goes and the surveillance state, I'm not too keen on, radar, speed cameras, or license plate readers, or any of this data collection stuff that is imperfect. Like you said, it could, you lend your car to your brother, but at the same time, you lent your car to your brother, and you should have known better, right? But and like there were red light cameras at one point that I think they still are. They capture not just the license plate, but they'll actually take a picture of it, where they used to, at least, of the person in the front seat. I remember. I was in traffic school once with a dude who he brought the photo of him getting busted by the red light camera, and he was in his, you could see him clear as day in his driver's seat, turning towards this buxom blonde who was in the passenger seat, and just sort of like just talking or checking her out or doing something in that direction, and not paying any attention to the fact that he was running a red light. So there are ways around that, but then again, that gets into privacy concerns. So, yeah, I tend to agree with you, Producer Dave. Like, just anything we can do to reduce speeds. Speed is the number one cause of vehicle on pedestrian incidents and injuries. So I think anything we can do to slow people down. And it's funny, like. The man on the street also said, I've just been, how have you been responding to it? Well, I've just been driving more cautious. Exactly. It's exactly
why weren't you already driving? Also, I liked how he said, people are going to pick their kids up from school, so they should be able to exceed the posted speed limit.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Right. But it's like, yeah, that's exactly the point, is that you drive more cautiously. That's exactly why they have these cameras. It's exactly why these, it's why cops do speed traps in the first place. Physical cops, right? Like they've seen speeding increase in a certain area where it's a little dangerous, and they're trying to, nab you. They're trying to get you to drive more cautiously. I absolutely got caught in a speed trap driving past a hospital in east of downtown San Jose on Santa Clara, where I shouldn't have been speeding, but I was in a little rush and I was aggravated, and yeah, I was speeding, and I'm glad they pulled me over, because I drive a lot more cautiously around there, because constantly seeing people walking across the street, especially seniors and kids walking to and from the hospital, right, to and from school that's nearby there. So I should have been driving more cautiously, frankly, and I wasn't. So I'm actually glad I got busted. Because it's made me a better and safer driver. But but that's beside the point of the surveillance state. I do think that was an actual cop who got me. So I do think that there is something to be said for law enforcement doing its job and not letting the cameras do it for you. But AI being what it is, and revenue being short in local government, they got to make ends meet somehow and make sure that they're doing their job. So I get it, but I am curious to know, like, who's monitoring that data, who's tracking those photos, who's making sure it gets deleted, right, at a certain amount of time, and does the federal government ever get up in their business? But
yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, like, fuck the police, but like one good thing the cops do is they do deter people from driving crazy. And I'll just tell you, as a now I've been a resident of Oakland for a while. People drive kind of crazy here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's not just Oakland, man. I mean, shit, my little bucolic suburban neighborhood, right? We happen to have a street that is a little wider than most. It doesn't have parking on one side. There's a school on one side. So it's kind of a wide open thoroughfare. It's a really long block. So we get plenty of people just cruising down our block where they know they can let it out, right? And I think people even come here from the neighborhood to let it out down our street. And you'll hear it all the time, just peeling out, tearing down our street. I've tried to get the city to come out and do a traffic study to see what's going on. And yeah, we have kids. Like, now we have multiple kids. Our neighbors have kids that are running around outside, and it's dangerous as shit. And yet we're in tiny little suburban neighborhood with the school across the street and the rose garden down the street, right? But even here, people be driving like crazy fools. We get freaking not what do you call them? Sorry, I'm losing my mind here. Sideshows, thank you. We don't get sideshows, but we get people pulling donuts in the middle of our intersection, on a regular basis. So it's not just the town; it's everywhere, even in San Ho. But all right, well, hey, we'll keep tabs on that. Make sure that your information is protected. Just don't speed, especially in a school zone. Mind the speed limit, and 11 miles over is actually not, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good grace period, frankly. If the speed limit is one thing and they're letting you go up to 11 miles over before
that's half again as fast right there.
Right. Like if it's a 20 zone, that means you can go 30 before you get a ticket. So come on, like that's let's see if we can navigate around that. Anyway,
also don't, unless you like work on Broadway, just find another way to get where you're going, because that's like the stupidest possible way to get anywhere in Oakland.
For sure. Like, know your routes, right? I think a lot of the problem is Google Waze these days. Like, I don't know that Google Waze actually. I lump it all together. Google Waze as sort of a sat nav is what they call it on Bluey, but digital maps, right? I think that they absolutely take you. I don't know that they take into account speed limits. I think they take into account traffic and the most direct routes.
Oh, Waze and Google Maps is why people were using, what was the name of that the street that's always clogged up in fucking Los Gatos?
Yeah, exactly. University, right? Or the side street. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that frontage road. It's not frontage road, but people use it like that along 880 or whatever that parallels 880. It's not a university. It's right there by the freeway. I forget the fucking name of it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I think that
Hamilton
when the freeway gets clogged, I think the fucking Google Maps was telling people to go there instead of just sitting and waiting their turn on the fucking freeway.
100%. I think that's where people are getting. I'd say see more and more people just relying on that, and you see these pockets of traffic where they never were, 20 years ago, 10, 20 years ago. If you've lived in places as long as I have, and I'm like, why in the hell are people coming down this street? Like, this is the most inefficient way to go somewhere. It's because their maps tells them to go that way, and suddenly there's traffic there, right? Like they're trying to get them around other traffic, and they end up in even more traffic because they're going down a side street or a street that wasn't built for heavy commuter traffic. Commuting is going to take a while. If you're going to commute in your car, it's going to take a while. Like, just live with it, roll with it, listen to put on a podcast, put on Downballot, put on one of the other Echoplex Media shows, and just enjoy the vibe. Don't be in such a rush.
Yeah, I don't know if you're not really heading to anything really specific at work, fucking fire up a doob and just chill the fuck out, man.
Right. Unless you and even
unless you work at a school or something like that, then I guess maybe
even if you do. I mean,
idea.
Honestly, especially if you work at a school, after school, shit, I'd be blowing a doob every day if I was a teacher, man. I work around teachers. They have a tough job, but that's a whole nother episode of Downballot and maybe it's a whole nother podcast to talk about that issue. Let's move on because we have so much to cover. We're going to cruise down to the South Bay, speaking of San Jose, and get into a little political commentary here. Mayor Ed 209, our wonderful mayor of San Jose, who is trying to be the wonderful governor of California now. He's trying to make a statewide name for himself, and he's leveraging the current situation in Iran to do that. And we're going to learn more about that from NBC Bay Area.
Keep talking about the price of gas and its nonstop rise. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, who is running for governor of California, is calling on Sacramento to temporarily suspend the state's gas taxes. NBC Bay Area's Jocelyn Moran joins us in studio tonight. Jocelyn, you talked with the professor at Berkeley who said these gas prices could rise even more than they've gone up so far.
Yeah, Garvin, experts say they absolutely could. They say so much depends on what happens in this war. Now, it's no secret that in California, we pay more than other states for gas. We have been for years, but this last week has been hard on drivers.
Tonight, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, who is running for governor, has advice for Sacramento lawmakers, a way to bring down gas prices statewide and soon.
I'm calling on our state leaders to temporarily suspend our gas tax and provide relief to those who need it most.
While gas prices are high across the nation, here in California, they're even higher.
What have you thought about the gas prices this week here visiting?
I think it sucks. I don't know how Californians can afford it.
Panak is in the Bay Area for work. He's from Utah, where according to AAA, the average price for a gallon is $3.53. In California, it's at $5.42, significantly higher than the national average of $3.63. Professor Severin Borenstein with UC Berkeley says typically gas prices in California are about $1.50 higher than the rest of the country.
About $1 of that is due to the higher taxes we have, the environmental fees we have, and the fact that we use a cleaner burning gasoline, which has helped clean up air quality quite a bit in California.
Governor Gavin Newsom says pumping the brakes on the gas tax won't necessarily bring down prices. His office said in a statement earlier this week that, quote, gas taxes are fixed costs that don't fluctuate with the market and have nothing to do with the price spikes that Americans are experiencing this week.
As you can tell, it's pretty high. It's getting higher. It's probably going to get worse. 13 gallons, $88.
But as drivers across the Bay Area can see, gas prices keep going up as the war with Iran goes on, and it could get even worse.
If the conflict drags on and we start to deplete the inventories we're using now, it's possible that prices could spike quite a bit higher.
Jocelyn, just a moment ago, we were talking about the weather. I asked Jeff how hot it's going to get.
Yeah.
Similar question for you. How high are these prices going to get?
Right. I asked the professor, could we possibly see gas prices get in that $7 range? He said it is possible. Again, so much of it depends on what happens in this war. And of course, there's a lot of uncertainty with that. Remember, we were talking about that gas station in Menlo Park on Sand Hill Road. It's already in that $7 range. The professor pointed that out. In California, you can shop around. You can find a gas station where it's already in the $7 range, and you can still find one that's in the $5 range. So the recommendation, shop around if you can.
Shop around.
Yeah.
Jocelyn, thank you very much.
Yeah, but the people in Menlo Park don't want to go to the neighborhood where it's still $5 a gallon.
Right. Hell no. And if you're running out of gas, right, you're not really, you're kind of out of options. You got to go to the nearest possible spot. And if you're from out of the area, you don't know where the hell you are. You know, the gas station by the freeway is probably the most convenient thing. And those are the ones that are usually the highest cost because they can afford to do that because they know that they've got you, right? Captive audience. So another example of Ed 209 jumping into the statewide scene, trying to ruffle some feathers with his X live video. I gotta love that, right? Everyone's on Instagram, and this guy's still on X. It says a lot about him. I think.
Oh yes, that's
you know what
true.
I'm saying? You know,
so I also want to and this isn't really local news stuff, but Matt Mahan basically wants to be like, hey, this country decided it was just gonna bomb someplace. And instead of you as a U.S. citizen being forced to understand the consequences of, I don't know, dropping bombs on a place where they can put mines or shoot rockets at the Strait of Hormuz, where a lot of your oil goes through, and maybe figuring out that, oh shit, my gas is $9 a gallon now because the asshole in the fucking White House decided to start bombing some country that for all intents and purposes was over there minding their own business. He's like, nah.
Yeah, we just need some relief.
Because now when I get into, because then he's gonna if he wins, he's gonna go there and go, look at this budget deficit, and it's like, well, bitch, you told them to get rid of the gas tax. Part of this is your fault.
We're overtaxed, man. There's too much of a burden placed, and we got to get less government, get government out of the way. We got to have more common sense. It's just another performative way of, I mean, it's not going to happen either too, right? They're not going to do that because they need the revenue. So there's no way the state's going to do that. And he knows that, but he can get a headline, he can get a story out there saying that he's calling for it and getting Gavin to comment on it. It's interesting watching this sort of back and forth between Gavin and Mahan, even though Mahan's not running against Gavin. Gavin's termed out, right? He's not running.
He's acting like he's running against Gavin though.
He absolutely is. They push back and forth on each other all the time. And I think that's deliberate on Mahan's part. I think he's trying deliberately to ruffle the feathers and look and appeal to the folks that are not so excited about Gavin, right? Those moderates and Republicans who always will consider Gavin to be the guy that let the gays get married, right?
Right. He's certainly positioning himself in a certain way, because if you may have noticed, a late addition to the docket, there's a red light where he's going on fucking Sam Harris's podcast. Last week we had him on Andrew Yang's podcast. I know how he's positioning himself. He's positioning himself wants to be the favorite candidate of Barry Weiss.
And was recently on the Daily Show on the sort of I don't want to say the flip side. I don't know if Jon Stewart's necessarily the extreme left side of things, but trying to position himself as all the things. He's trying to say I am every woman. It's all in me. He's really trying to be everything for everyone all at once. And it might work, frankly, because, like I said, voters are fickle. They don't know a whole lot about the inside baseball stuff, and they don't necessarily read between the lines. And it's not their fault again. But he's playing off that, and his team is playing off that. And like I said last week, good riddance. I hear he's still trailing in the polls, but apparently the predictor markets have him doing pretty well. So once the campaign gets rolling, we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's great. The prediction markets. I don't even want to get into that fucking shit. I hate that shit. I hate that shit.
Let's leave that for a down ballot bingo later on in the campaign when things really get rolling.
I don't know. There's a lot of good podcast. A lot of people out there. Their podcast called "Kill the Computer" is doing some good stuff on the prediction markets lately. Yeah. So check them out. They're pretty cool.
All right. Well, speaking of rolling one up like we did on the previous clip, let's talk about the San Francisco Soups embracing that new state law from former supervisor Matt Haney that allows for cannabis cafes, and they might be coming soon to San Francisco.
Well, are cannabis cafes coming to San Francisco? That's
I don't know.
The question people are asking as a new local ordinance is presented in hopes to clear the path for that to become a reality. NBC Bay Area's Ginger Conejero-Saab live for us in San Francisco. And Ginger, it really has already been quite the journey to get this far. So how soon are we talking about when we could see those pot cafes in the city?
Well, Marcus, it might still be a while. It has already been a year since state legislation opened the doors for cities and counties to decide on cannabis cafes for themselves. So the announcement that was made outside City Hall here this morning is really just a first step, but it is a significant one for cannabis retailers here in the city who are looking to expand their menus and consequently their businesses. So earlier this morning, Assemblymember Matt Haney, who made changes at the state level, announced that he and Board of Supervisors President Raphael Mandelman are introducing a local ordinance that changes the rules for cannabis retailers here in the city. That ordinance will amend the health code, the police code, the business and tax code, as well as the planning code to enable cannabis retailers to prepare and serve food and non-alcoholic beverages at cannabis lounges.
We want to help the existing businesses, existing legal businesses that are actually struggling. So we're giving them a little bit of a head start in terms of applying for these permits. But we also want to make sure that, you know, there are actually cannabis cafes, and that if none of the existing retailers take advantage of it, that maybe someone out there will.
He wants to blow a doob.
So the ordinance will also revise the planning code to allow for cannabis retail lounges to occupy more than a third of a retailer's premises. It'll also enable the creation of cannabis cafes where cannabis can be sold only for on-site consumption. Now, there will be a phased rollout in the implementation of this if and when it is passed. That means that initially only existing cannabis retailers can open new cannabis cafes. Their opportunity might be open to new retailers depending on how this all rolls out. Now, cannabis cafes will also remain subject to permitting as well as zoning that exists on the state and local levels that are specific to cannabis businesses only. So while the rules are changing, there are still specific limitations to where these cafes will go or how they will grow. But for now, this is one that's at the beginning stage. Many eyes will keep an eye on this one. In San Francisco, Ginger Conejero-Saab, NBC Bay Area News.
Oakland already has these. They're great.
Yeah, I'm all for this. I mean, there's places around the world that have these already. I mean, Amsterdam obviously was on the forefront, but yeah, this is the natural progression, I think, and good to see, and I can't wait for it myself. And frankly, you know, there's some places have been a lot, you know, doing this all along, tacitly allowing it, and you know, it's a good thing. Oh
yeah, even in San Jose, there's a ton of bars that have a back patio where if you go back there and blaze a joint, nobody's gonna bother you.
Exactly, and I don't know why anyone would, right? Frankly, to me, it's, you know, if you're gonna have bars, right, you're gonna have places where you can have alcohol and then get food at the cafe too. Like, someone getting drunk is infinitely more dangerous or likely to pop off than someone blowing a doob. You blowing a doob, you're just laid back, you're kicking back, you're not going to cause any trouble for anyone. In fact, if I was the manager of an establishment, right, I would, you know, you talk about cutting people off, right? Like bars can get
you
in
don't have to worry about that, right?
Not at all.
Somebody smokes too much weed, they might just stay too long, and then they're going to order too many French fries.
They're going to order more nachos, right? Or they'll just pass out, right? Big deal. They're not going to cause a problem.
Pass out. You just wake them up. They're like, "Oh, sorry, man,
bro.
Like, I'm going to go. They're like, "No, you okay? You okay? Oh, can I get another joint?" They're like, "Not that. Do you need water or something, man? You all right?"
Right. You need a brownie. No, yeah, this is a good thing. It's good for commerce. It's good for everybody. And it's not just about, getting stoned. It's about just enjoying life and living it up and enjoying our cafe culture here in California. So more power to them.
The language in there about how like there were some places where that you would have to like only consume it on premises seems a little weird. Like I understand the alcohol thing because you don't want somebody like ordering a fucking, well, I mean, actually I don't understand it, but I mean, the logic behind it is like, actually, I don't understand. I don't understand if you could buy a fucking Long Island iced tea and drink it in the bar. I don't know why you can't get it in a solo cup and drink it in front of the bar. What the fuck's the difference?
Yeah, they're working on that too. Like San Jose is creating these quote unquote entertainment zones, right, where you can walk around with an alcoholic beverage you bought in one place and walk down the street and enjoy like a party at this place, party at that place, little music in the street. Little festival, right? So yeah, they're working on that too. But yeah, I agree, and I think it's just baby steps. We're so freaking caught up in the reefer madness still of 100 years ago, right? And we're trying to extricate all these rules and these regulations and these prohibitions. So it's just baby steps for the people that are a little squeamish about, someone's toking the reefer, right? She was living in a single room with 3 other individuals. It's just those folks. You have to get it, buy it on, and consume it on site. You can't just walk into a bar with weed you bought somewhere else and roll up a joint. Like whatever, I can. There's a smoking section. You can do so many things and roll up into so many places doing things that you bought somewhere else. So you can bring your own wine to a fancy restaurant. So.
Right. That's a scam too. That fucking bottle service fee. Whoever came up with that is a genius. They're like, what, you want to bring your own bottle? All right. You got to give it to the bartender along with $200 so we can serve you your bottle of fucking, your $80 bottle of scotch. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck that. Whoever does that is an idiot.
We should call it the corkage fee.
They deserve that $200 fee for that dumbass shit they're doing in the first place.
And we should call it the corkage fee. Corkage. Anyway, so good luck to Supervisor Mendelman. I hope he gets to blow a joint at a cannabis cafe really soon with Matt Haney and myself, and I'm sure the producer will join us at some point too. We'll lobby for San Jose to take it up, although I don't think that's going to be happening under Mayor Ed 209.
Imagine if Matt Mahan got overruled by the city, he would blow a gasket. It would be funny.
He wants to let everyone get drunk in public. There's no way he's letting people smoke a doob in public for sure.
And just like I don't always have time. Like I usually I'm in a hurry or whatever. But at the over on Telegraph in Temescal, the place I like, if you show up during certain hours, the patio's open, and it's just literally the patio's open, and you can go back there and smoke weed. Right? It's not like some sort of formalized cannabis cafe. It's just like if you'd like to like blow a joint here or whatever, or if you like last time I went, I saw there were a bunch of people out there, so I was like, actually let me also get a pre-roll, and I went out and shared the pre-roll with some people and said hi to the people out there, and then somebody gave me a dab, and then I could barely ride my bicycle back to fucking MacArthur Boulevard. But like,
it's a communal environment, it's a communal drug. Enjoy it. Let's all come together in peace and harmony. Maybe if we all blew a doob, there wouldn't be any war, and the gas prices would be normalized. But anyway,
people would just be like, all right, that's cool, man. I'll just get a smaller bike.
That's cool, man. That's cool. All right, well, let's keep on cruising down. We'll stay in San Francisco. Recently appointed, the second time around, appointed Supervisor Alan Wong is trying to ingratiate himself to his residents, and he wants to hear from them about laws that they don't think are very smart. And we're going to
supervisor is launching what he's calling a dumb laws contest. It's meant to tackle outdated city rules. What are we talking about here? Let's say past complications some business owners have faced when wanting to place chairs outside their storefronts. Well, his office says the city's worked to streamline some processes. ABC 7 Eyewitness News reporter Gloria Rodriguez live in studio with us with the changes. Hi, Gloria.
Hello. Yes, San Francisco has a history with unusual laws. In fact, it was the first city in the U.S. to prohibit, quote, unsightly people from appearing in public. The so-called law was eventually repealed, but there are still some very unusual, outdated rules buried in our public codes, and one supervisor is hoping to weed them out.
Maybe the dumb law might even get repealed.
San Francisco Supervisor Alan Wong wants to hear from residents about their experiences with so-called dumb laws.
So I think I want to just work on things that don't make sense and are making the lives of everyday people harder.
I found some questionable laws in San Francisco and decided to ask residents about them.
It's illegal to carry bread in an exposed container or a basket. What do you think about that?
I think that is a very weird law. I don't think there should be a way that someone should carry their bread.
Sounds kind of dumb. A little besides the point.
I love it. I'm on a low-carb diet. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, that's silly.
Here's another weird one. If someone sells used underwear to be used as a wiping rag, that's illegal under Section 694.
That's a weird law, but I find it more disgusting than anything. Using, underwear.
Does it need to be illegal? It's a bad idea, but does it have to be illegal?
So will Supervisor Wong work to repeal these odd laws? Possibly, but not so fast.
Before we eliminate any proposed dumb laws, we need to make sure removing it is not dumb.
And I found another weird law. It's illegal to pick flowers like this at a park, so you can't take any soil, weeds, or grass from a park without permission from the Recreation and Park Department.
That's not a dumb law.
That's not a dumb law.
Experiences with these so-called...
You can't just go to the park and be like, I need some fucking potting soil.
Right? Like I can go down to the rose garden here and pick one of the rose bushes.
Dumb laws with Supervisor Wong's office, and we'll be posting that link up on our website. And the winner of the contest will be featured in their social media pages. And he says, who knows, that law just might be repealed. Live in the studio, Gloria Rodriguez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. So Larry, some weird laws still out there.
All right, so if I got this straight, no exposed bread, don't pick the weeds, and don't use your underwear to wash the car. I got it.
You got it.
3 for 3. Thank you.
So the reason these don't get repealed is it's just like more trouble than it's worth to repeal a law about exposed bread in public, because there's nobody who's going to enforce that law. So you're just wasting your time even going about the business of repealing it. That's why they don't do that.
100%. I would like to see the data on how many times that law has actually been enforced, at least since in the past few years, if not a century. It seems like a centuries old kind of a regulation.
We even have word from the chat that it might be okay to actually have it be illegal for you to sell your used underwear for somebody to wash their car with. So
right, I mean,
we got
fine.
some bootlickers up in the chat, is what I'm saying.
Right,
or underwear, but not underwear sniffers.
No, they're underwear enthusiasts. No, it has to be fresh underwear, not dirty underwear. Like the guy said, like this really bad idea. So, I mean, does there really need to be a law against, who would purchase used underwear? Who would buy used underwear to use as a cleaning agent, right? Like, don't you have your own used underwear?
A lot of people people that for a time there was used like band t-shirts or whatever. If they'd get worn out, it was like kind of like the rag that you would hang on the little handle from your oven that you would never use, that was like decorative. People were on Etsy were doing that with band t-shirts, but I can't imagine doing that with like Superman underoos, right? Yeah, right. There you can buy a bag of rags at like a hardware store that's like old white t-shirts that are torn up, right? And I made my own bag of rags out of my old undershirts, because they get kind of gnarly, but they're still good for cleaning stuff. So I have a bag of those in the garage. Why would you ever buy a rag for cleaning, right? Like, you've got so many options. We waste so much crap ourselves. Why would you go buy someone else's waste? Just use whatever you have. Anyway, I would just say, listen, it's fine if the underoos don't have skid marks on them. All right.
Yeah, but so this is just another way of Alan Wong, I think, just making a name for himself. That I don't think he'll actually end up repealing any of these laws. It's fun. It'll get the residents talking, but at the end of the day, it's not like these laws are hurting anybody or causing some sort of massive waste of public dollars.
Also mentioned in the chat, was the law created in 1897 or something? Because San Francisco, there was a pretty puritanical place for a long time. People don't know that. The city of St. Francis, if you can imagine, was a pretty puritanical kind of buttoned up kind of place for a while.
I'm sure there was at some point a reason why you can't carry your bread in an exposed container, but I'm sure. Back in the day, health hazards being what they were, right? Like pandemics and all this, we had less public health opportunity, right? Maybe there was some sort of health or safety hazard with having exposed bread. Bread has, sourdough especially has the living agents in it, right? Like things in it. So maybe there was some sort of reason why you couldn't do that at some point. It's obviously obsolete, but is it worth going back into the books and spending time when you're already bitching about, how we heard all the time where law enforcement is understaffed and under-resourced, and local government is facing deficits.
Because this is like worse than broken windows policing if you're just going around like trying to enforce all these fucking 150-year-old laws, right?
Right. That would be the fun one. That would be something fun, not like repealing it. Like let's order the police to actually go enforce this law. That would be fun to watch.
So
anyway.
Also, like, there's a way this could have been fun, right? Like, there's totally a way this could have been fun. Where this guy could have, like, he could have just been like, hey, I was digging through, we were looking something up and we found this weird law about bread. So I want to get the community involved here. And I want to find like the dumbest law that we can, and we're probably not going to repeal it because nobody's going to enforce it if it's like the bread law. But, let's get some community engagement, drop it on my social media, find a dumb law in San Francisco. Like, that's fun, right?
Yeah,
but this guy like mentioned also, businesses not being able to put like chairs and tables in front of their business. It's like, well, yeah, there's some places in like the Castro, for example, like there's no room on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
there's already not enough room for the people on the sidewalk in the Castro, so you don't see a lot of fucking tables and chairs out in front of people's fucking businesses in the Castro because there's no room. Like the sidewalks in the Castro are kind of thin.
Yeah, and you can't pick the roses and the plants at a public park because that's what you go to the fucking public park for, is the fucking nature and the landscaping. So it makes perfect sense. I don't know what that's not a dumb law. That's just a law, right? It's almost not even a law. It's almost like a community understanding, right? Like, or a community contract. Like, yeah, you don't pick the plants at a fucking public park. Just like you pick up your litter after yourself, right? Anyway, not for nothing. Like, there may be ways, and in chat again, somebody said that there's like could be ways in which some of these old laws are like used by people who get mad at like a bar for the people hanging out on the patio, and there's like an old noise ordinance that a place of ill repute may not have noise after 8 p.m. or whatever. Right, or some sort of like bakery war, like a baker across the street from another baker is like calling the other baker on letting people walk out the door with uncovered bread, just to shut them down, take over the fucking market. Anyway,
yeah, but these things, like this is like, again, like discretion, not just prosecutorial, but like regulatory discretion, right? Like that. And I don't know. I guess like that'd be kind of cool though if they had like one meeting where it was like kind of fun, like everybody was there in their official capacity or whatever, but they're going to go through and vote on getting rid of these dumb laws that people bring to them. I think it'd be a lot of fun. You could get a lot of community engagement and like teach people things about the process of local government. But this guy just sort of seems to want to do it because he thinks that, I don't know, one of his friends has a bakery or a cafe or whatever, where the city was like, no, actually you can't put table and chair out in front because the sidewalk's not wide enough for that.
Yeah, he's just trying to get his name ID up again. He'll have to run for re-election, or not re-election. He'll have to run for election, I think, later this year, against possibly the former supervisor who got recalled.
I want the lady who put like a dead cat in the fridge to just run for that too, or whatever.
It's illegal. It shouldn't be illegal to put dead cats in your freezer. That's my dumb law.
She's like, well, you're talking about dumb laws, and I think it shouldn't be illegal for me to have dead cats in the refrigerator at my pet food store.
That was kind of her attitude, right? It shouldn't be illegal for me to pay my employees under the counter or under the table. That seemed to be her attitude. Was like, everyone does this. This is a stupid law.
If I had any money, I'd move to the Sunset and run for supervisor. I have a whole list of things that I don't think should be illegal.
I'll run your campaign if you do. The good wife and I'll be there for you.
Man, there wouldn't be a lot of money there, and you'd have some splaining to do. Anyway, let's move on.
It's all good. We'd figure it out.
Here we go. This is a great one. I found this too because it was all over my social media feeds, and all it did was give me some fucking ideas. Actually, this is Alameda, not the county of Alameda, the city of Alameda, right down the hill from me, essentially. Great place. I like Alameda. I wish I could have afforded the apartment I saw there. I like it over there. It's nice. But apparently, don't have a party on the beach.
In the East Bay, Alameda police are on alert patrolling, as you can see, because of possible beach takeover parties. The events are being advertised on social media for tomorrow and Tuesday. And these takeovers are expected to attract a lot of young people, causing safety concerns. NBC Bay Area's Christy Smith has more.
It was a popular day for a stroll near Crown Beach in Alameda. Come tomorrow, you can expect some extra police presence in the area. Alameda police say they're monitoring 2 unpermitted beach takeover parties after posts circulated on social media. Kara says she's heard about it.
Yeah, they were saying that there's going to be...
Dude, homegirl's going to go. She's like, man, leave me alone.
beach takeover or event or something.
Alameda Police posted on the department's social media page that they're worried about the safety and supervision of minors. One event promotes an assassin-style game using water guns and water balloons. Like fun, but similar games in the past have led to unintended and dangerous consequences. We spoke with Sergeant Chris Feliciano with East Bay Regional Park District Police.
God.
Man, it's McNulty from The Wire.
Seriously, could you look any more like a cop?
It sounds like good fun and everything like that, but some of the complaints that we get are, if you're involved in the game, then that's okay. But when it starts spilling over to people in the public who are not part of the game, and it causes them to
get wet
at the beach on a hot day,
shit, I got sprayed with a squirt gun.
The enjoyment of the park, then that is going to be the problem.
Sergeant Feliciano says there will be increased patrols to promote public safety.
And if you'd like to come and follow rules, we welcome you. Anything starts going sideways or you just start disturbing the peace of other people in the area,
don't be loud at the beach.
We'll have to step in and make sure that we don't have those minors that are drinking. We don't have people smoking on the beach.
Meantime, Alameda Police posted they're urging parents to talk with their kids and discourage participating in unpermitted gatherings. Kara says she's not worried.
I think it's fine.
Hell yeah. She's totally going.
Need to chill out a little bit, especially right now. There's so many awful things going on in the world, and let kids have a good time.
Hell yeah.
In Alameda,
there you go.
Christy Smith, NBC Bay Area News.
But unauthorized gathering on the beach just means that, like, I'm going to meet you and, like, your family, and maybe my family's going to come out. Like, now, do we, like, how many people do you have to have a permit? Also, like, that's a cool place to, like, have a barbecue and maybe have music and stuff. And you'd think maybe the city could, as Sheryl Sandberg famously said about doing horrible things to people, just lean in a little bit.
Yeah, like the lady said, right? Like, let kids be kids, right? There's so much shit going on in the world that we should be concerned about, and we're worried about kids having fun. Like, I didn't hear anything in that whole clip about, like, actual violence or,
I don't know, man. You ever get wet when you're at the beach when you didn't want to get wet?
Yeah, man. It's just, it really bums me out. Yeah, of course. Don't mess with other people who are just chilling out and having a good time. But, like, yeah, you go to the beach, you're looking for fun, and maybe just maybe they'll let you have fun with them if you're
also,
hanging
like,
out next to that party.
So if the city was like, hey, you can't do these parties, but however, we've reached out to the organizers of these parties and we're working with them on a permit process, and what we're going to do, we're actually going to have a concert. We're going to do it in April. We're going to have a concert, and we're getting the organizers of these things involved. Boom! You got rid of this. The organizers now get to fucking put on an event with the city. There's bands, DJs, fucking. There are going to be people out there, fucking hot dog vendors. Everybody's going to be out there, and you might start a new fucking fun tradition instead of nanny stating these people that are like, hey, everybody go to the beach on Tuesday, and they're like, no.
Yeah, organized water balloon fights. Like, this could be really fun, right? But
I mean, keep it away from the DJ, obviously, and the equipment.
Of course, but police won't be police gonna police, right? They're looking for
maybe have a dunk tank for that fucking cop, that particular cop.
God, could your haircut scream cop anymore? Like, he didn't need the uniform. He could have been just a Joe on the street, like, dressed in just regular clothes, and I'd be like, yep, cop.
And I don't want to throw McNulty from The Wire under the bus. Actually, that was one of those cops from The Wire that would, like, go specifically to the high rises to crack skulls, right? That wasn't.
Yeah. 100%. This is an East Bay Municipal Regional Park District cop, so not entirely Baltimore PD. Anyway, we're gonna finally wrap up winners and losers, where, as usual, there are no winners unless it's the people we were rooting against. And speaking of rooting against, let's go to Get Your Shit Together. And this week, producer Dave, for the first time in I think months, it's not Bart. So, although there was a Bart story that was worth putting on, but we'll lean into Bart next week maybe.
I took Bart all around the Bay Area Saturday night.
Oh, fantastic! You should let them know. You should let a friend know. So
I'll let everybody know that I went from Oakland to San Jose, then VTA to Campbell, then back to Oakland, and then to the city, and then I couldn't take Bart home because I left
too late.
I left the event at 4 a.m, so I couldn't take Bart home. But that's actually my complaint: is why the fuck can't I take Bart home at 4 a.m?
Truth. You can take the Paris Metro at 4 a.m. Anyway, or the New York subway. So we're going to learn about some malfeasance going on at Valley Water. That's our local Santa Clara County water retailer, as it were. They are known as the Golden Spigot, affectionately.
I would never, ever use that terminology.
Because of the waste that they engage in. If you want to talk about government waste, there are a few agencies that actually do engage in government waste, and this is one of them. And we're going to learn more about how they do that and how they get themselves into trouble in this story.
Lashing out at their board for paying their former CEO more than $500,000 to leave his post. This comes after an investigation found that he sexually harassed female employees.
NBC Bay Area's Marianne Favreau spoke with Rick Callender today in his first interview since the investigation.
It was standing room only at the Valley Water Board meeting today as employee after employee publicly lashed out at the board for allowing former CEO Rick Callender to resign after a law firm's investigation found he had sexually harassed employees. The board then offered him an advisory position at his current $520,000 salary for 1 year.
I am here today not only to speak for myself, but also for female employees that have not come forward and have also experienced harassment. I now know why women choose to leave their jobs quietly. I have turned in years of evidence with inappropriate comments and images from my harasser, and it wasn't enough. He remains on Valley Water payroll.
Our disgraced former CEO an additional 6 figures for his advice, and no one will be held accountable for the pain and trauma our employees endured.
Today, in his first public interview since the investigation began, Rick Callender is speaking out. Did you ever sexually harass any employees?
I absolutely have never sexually harassed any employee whatsoever. My reaction to the findings, I was dumbfounded. I was surprised. I've long stood for protecting people's rights.
Callender says the legal team investigating him took things out of context, including this photo.
The one I think is most significant was it said I took a picture of my crotch on my lap. And I think if you look at the picture, it was a COVID-era picture where I was showing the proof that I wasn't continuing to wear a suit.
In a statement, the chair of the Valley Water Board,
that wasn't a crotch shot.
We do not condone this behavior from any employee, adding, because of a single director's behavior that violated our policies, Valley Water incurred significant legal liability, which would have resulted in years of protracted litigation. The chair says that forced the board to pay the CEO beyond his contract to avoid litigation and millions in legal fees. Callender says he now plans to pursue legal action against one director, Rebecca Eisenberg. We reached out to her via email for comment, but have not yet received a response. In San Jose, Marianne Favreau, NBC Bay Area News.
So just real quick, that was not a crotch shot. It just wasn't. You couldn't even see the part. Like there was a tie and his shirt. So, but that's the one he chose to focus on too, right? Like, so I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know like what else he was doing.
Yeah, there was an independent investigation. There were multiple findings, and a lot of it verbal harassment, but still harassment nonetheless. And I found a pattern of this kind of behavior, and it's been known for a long time. And it's not like, and he's been known at least internally for a long time to have engaged in this kind of behavior. He is claiming that this is racially motivated, and that he's being singled out. Unfortunately, one of the
everybody here sexually harasses the broads at work.
Right. Just because I'm black, they're calling me out. The director who they are singling out, she did allegedly go above and beyond in terms of requesting and then releasing internal documents, which she shouldn't have, which did open up the district to liability and for him to sue. So this is their way of getting out of a lawsuit, is by paying this guy basically $600,000 to go away and not for not be around for a little while. In the meantime, he's been on paid leave for 18 months, so he's been getting paid this salary all this time when he's not been doing his job. They had an interim CEO who was getting paid the same salary to do his job, and now they're going to go out and have to find a new CEO and pay them probably sometime where there's an overlap between these other two positions to do this job. So they're eventually going to have 3 people on the payroll making upwards of $600,000 a year to do the same job, and only one of them is actually going to be doing the job. Meanwhile, they're laying off employees in other departments.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. I hate this shit here, right? Because this guy gets this golden parachute or whatever when it seems like he was probably sexually harassing people. Again, there was no crotch shot there. I don't know what he was doing, showing his shoes or saying that he wasn't wearing jeans to work because he's like one of the common people or whatever. Sure. But maybe don't take that picture. Maybe take a picture of yourself in the mirror with your whole fit on.
Right. Well, and the context, by the way, of that picture, the text context of what he was saying in text, in addition to sending the picture, has nothing to do with COVID era joking and inside jokes about, look, I'm not wearing pants and I'm on Zoom. No, that's not at all what that's not what the comments were about. Oh, they were very much about like, would you like to sit here?
That's fucked. Oh, wait a minute. Why would he wait? So he's just lying.
Yeah, when can I come over? When can I come over and we can have some wine and like hang out and talk? To like married women. And this guy also has a baby mama. He's got a girlfriend. Like, and I only know this because I know him through personal connections.
Spilling the tea on that guy's lap.
He's also the president of the local NAACP chapter, right? So he's got a lot of folks stepping up for him, saying this is racially motivated. So it's a mess, and the district is just afraid of litigation and spending too much money on that and getting more egg in their face. So they're just trying to get out of this as quickly and as expediently as they can. But people be watching, and it looks like the employees are not going to take this lightly because it's their jobs that are on the line too. Like they're getting cut from, they're getting having layoffs due to budget cuts. Meanwhile, all this money is being spent at the top end. Good Lord, that's a hefty salary, regardless of all this shit for a public agency chief. Like the mayor of San Jose.
I can live pretty good for fucking that. I can live pretty fucking high on the hog for fucking 6 or 7 years off that money if unless inflation like takes us out. I just really real quick, like people get mad at this stuff for like a couple reasons, and I think one of the reasons is like. Imagine you're working like a customer service job or whatever, and you're having like an off day and you get fired basically because you had kind of like a bad attitude at work or whatever when you were making like $18.50 or $20 an hour or whatever. And you didn't do nothing to nobody except not smile enough while you fucking rung somebody up or help them find the thing that they were looking for. And then you watch this guy and you're like, he's making how much? And wait, what? So people get pissed off because they're like, well, I have to go to work and pretend to smile when I'm like, I had a really bad night last night actually, and this motherfucker that we're doing what here? So people get mad at this stuff, but it's not just the government that does this. This happens to people who make a lot of money in the private sector all the time too. People just don't get riled up about it because it's not they don't think of it as their tax dollars. But if it's like the district manager for a grocery chain that this is happening to, it's baked into the cost of your fucking groceries too,
100%. Yeah, they've similarly, most private companies actually have, and actually most public agencies have budgets for litigation specifically for that. It's not related to any specific litigation. They just have an amount of money that they are willing to spend any given year to defend themselves or to against allegations or challenges or threats or legitimate problems that their employees cause. Right. So this is just another example of that, whether it's public or private. And an example of not being willing to take a stand for the people who are credibly accusing this
I mean,
guy.
It seems like homegirl with the blonde lady, from what you're saying, was willing to take a stand. She leaked documents about the internal investigation, probably because she thought this guy was out there fucking lying about what was going on, lying about the content, or his surrogates were out there lying. And I don't know, maybe she shouldn't have released it because it opens to liability, but I would suggest to you that if there's internal documents about something, I don't know, it's just transparency, as long as it's not like releasing, is a social security number and home address in these documents. Well, then don't do that.
Yeah, sure. And no one's found her guilty of anything, frankly. And she can be I'll admit, she can be kind of a pain in the ass herself. But, in this case, she ran on this. She ran on transparency. She ran on this sort of boys club that had been running this district for a long time. And tried to come in and clean things up. And this is what she gets, unfortunately. She gets singled out. By the way, the vote to give this guy this golden parachute was 6-1 on the board. There was very little contention at all.
Was homegirl the only one that voted against it?
Of course, yeah. Some other people who consider themselves there were women on the board who voted for this too.
Listen, there could be, this doesn't seem like one of those kinds of cases, but there could be a case where you're just like, give this guy $500,000 and get rid of him. Right. But I don't
That's
think
pretty
this
much
is
what
one
they
of
did.
those cases because the guy had already been, you said, on administrative leave, paid administrative leave for a year and a half.
Yeah, almost 2 years. Yeah, while this investigation was going on, right? So it's like this investigation was half-assed. It was done by an independent group, and they found multiple, accusations, multiple allegations, a pattern, a history. So yeah, it's not a good look in general. I don't know how they, how you get out of it. You don't hire douchebags in the first place. That's how you get out of it. You don't hire people who have reputations. You don't hire douchebags. You don't pay them inordinate amounts of money and give them all this power, and make them feel like they can get away with anything, right? Like you just don't. You have a better work environment in the first place and work culture, and start there. That's how you clean up your mess. You don't clean it up by paying out public dollars to sweep it under the rug, basically. They should have it out. They should let this guy sue. And I guarantee
like Discovery, I think if this guy's worried about his reputation, if he sues these people, Discovery might be a bitch.
Yeah, completely. I mean, they're going to win. Like it's all threats. That's the thing is, it's all smoke. He's bluffing. He's absolutely bluffing because he knows, and his attorneys probably know that if they did push this, it would expose him a lot more, and he might just lose. Right, the district might win, but they just don't want to. They don't want to go through that either because they don't want the egg on their face. If like, well, we hired this guy, and and we are overpaying this position, and when we do have all these internal issues, right? They don't
that
want to
amount
go
of
through
money,
either.
like somebody in chat mentioned that. I mean, like it's different. Like $500,000 in San Jose is not $500,000 somewhere else. San Jose is the most expensive place.
Sure,
but he'd be fine on half of that.
Well, yeah, to your point about the customer service rep who's not making anywhere near that, right? Probably making less than making five figures and is having trouble affording the rent here in San Jose, right? Like, and probably has a family to support. Like this guy,
yeah, he'd be living large. I mean, he'd be, what is it, 580, 560? He'd be living large on half of that.
Right. I mean, he does have, like I said, he's got a baby mama to support, right? And he's got a girlfriend, so he's got to keep up appearances.
Those people can get jobs too. Maybe they can go get paid too much by the water district. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, I shouldn't talk too much more about it because like I said, I do have a personal connection here. But regardless, this is Downballot, and we can talk about what we want here. It's a safe space. Well, let's get your shit together. Valley Water, get your shit together in general, and try not to have 3 CEOs making $500K at the same time. That's just not cool. All right. Well, speaking of money, we're going to go down ballot. Another story you found, producer Dave, about the gubernatorial race. We talked about it briefly with Matt Mahan earlier. You're going to get into it with Matt Mahan and Sam Harris later. Oh my God. But
yeah, everybody stick around for Red Light. I'll publish that on the feed too. I haven't published last week's Andrew Yang with Matt Mahan just because I've been like busy getting ready for stuff. But yeah, we'll put those out as like maybe on weeks where we don't have a show next week, so we'll put those out as
there you go. That works. So Tom Steyer, a billionaire candidate for governor, has been spending his billions trying to make sure people knew who he is, even though everyone knows who he is. And it hasn't really done a whole lot to move his poll numbers, but we're going to find out about how much he's spending trying to move those numbers from KPIX.
Well, new polling on the crowded race to represent California as governor, as 2 surveys show a lot of voters have yet to, actually make up their mind. We're here in San Francisco. Candidates are making the rounds trying to win over undecided voters. More on that in just a minute. But first, let's give you a look at those numbers. The latest Emerson College poll shows East Bay Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell was 17%. 2 Republicans, Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, are just behind him, followed by Democrats Tom Steyer and Katie Porter. And a UC Berkeley and Political poll found Hilton, a Republican, leading with 19%. Steyer received 13% with Swalwell, Katie Porter, Bianco, and at 11%. But more importantly to note, undecided voters make up a large percentage in both of those polls. And Tom Steyer, who is a billionaire, has tried to make a name for himself with a blitz of television commercials. Our Lauren Tom spoke to the Bay Area voters who recently came out to meet that man behind those ads.
There's one candidate in California's race for governor who's been hard to miss, Tom Steyer.
I'm Tom Steyer, and I'm running for governor.
He's spent millions on a TV ad campaign that voters like Laura Werland say feels nearly constant.
After seeing all of the ads that Tom Steyer's been doing, which frankly I'm so tired of that I
yeah, oh man, that sucks. Fucking this homeowners association ass lady is like his target audience, and she's like, this is fucking annoying.
Right. I don't need to know, bro. I'm done with you.
Sometimes when they come on, but it was enough to get through to me that I wanted to hear from from him directly.
So when he came to San Francisco this week for an intimate town hall series with the candidates for governor at Manny's, she showed up, not to watch another commercial, but to see the person behind them.
I found what I saw in the ads, and I found something sort of ads plus. And the ads plus part is that I really believe that he does walk his talk, which I kind of thought before, but this confirmed that.
Steyer's self-funded campaign has spent nearly $30 million so far, including a massive ad buy that has made him one of the most visible candidates in the race. His spending dwarfs other campaigns, including Katie Porter, Eric Swalwell, and Matt Mahan, who have yet to break $10 million.
I mean, if you haven't seen a Tom Steyer commercial, then you probably haven't been breathing.
Political expert David McEwen says that kind of exposure matters, but it only goes so far.
Tom Steyer's money buys him access, but it doesn't necessarily buy him the vote.
Making moments like this, small in-person conversations with voters, crucial.
You have to compete with your television image, with your in-person. Are you genuine and likable? This used to be the test of, do you want to have a beer with this guy? And so that test,
he's picking up the check, that's for sure.
Likable is an important kind of test of retail politics.
Werlin says the difference between campaign messaging and the real-life candidate can be subtle. In his ads, he often talks about affordability.
But the Californians who make this state run are being run over by the cost of living.
And at the town hall, the message was similar, but gave a peek into his personality.
Working people in this state have been screwed for at least 45 years.
She says the night gave her a clear understanding of who Steyer is, but remains undecided in the race, and more convinced than ever that voters need to look beyond the ads.
Can't just go for that low-hanging fruit, which is the people who are the best funded, because it is our life and our livelihood and our...
Yeah, but that lady's going to end up voting for Matt Mahan.
Yes.
Well, these are all the candidates that have filed to run in the June 2nd primary. Voters will send the top two to the general election in November, regardless of party affiliation. And that has Democratic Party leaders worried about the possibility that two Republicans winning the top two spots. The state party chair has called on Democrats who are toward the bottom of the polls to actually drop out. He says they will release those tracking polls every week or so to make sure candidates and voters know where that race now stands.
There's been plenty of polls before. I think it made sense to do this at this particular point in time to ensure that we all had a clear picture as to what the current state of the race is, especially at a time when candidates are expending resources and connecting with voters across the state.
So there's a very little chance the two Republicans go through.
I think so. At the end of the day, once the campaign really starts in earnest, the Republicans are pulling those kind of numbers because that's the Republican vote, right? Like people just see R.
Right, they're at the ceiling essentially. Those two combined are at the ceiling, and
correct.
Yeah, those two combined are at the ceiling.
Yeah, there's over 10%, I think, legitimately undecided, and then there was 30%, I think, in one poll that were they kind of like someone, but they're really not sure yet. So it's a wide open lane for Mayor Ed 209 and others who are not so well known, but are really bankable and have a good message that'll appeal broadly. I anticipate that those Republican numbers will go down eventually. And who knows, maybe one of them does end up in the runoff because the Democrats kind of split their own votes asunder. But in that case, the Dems going to win, like we've covered before. The Dem could take a vacation at that point and still win the race. So maybe Tom Steyer gets there and then he doesn't have to spend as much money in the second round, but he probably will anyway, just to make sure.
It's interesting because I haven't seen shit all from Eric Swalwell, and he's at that one poll he was leading. The other poll that looked like I don't know. I'd have to look more into those polls. But Eric Swalwell, I think as soon as he starts as soon as he actually starts spending money and campaigning, I think he probably starts pulling away from other people.
It's all just name ID at this point. He's just the most well-known, right? He and Katie Porter have been on national news for a long time because of their involvement in the impeachment hearings, and Katie Porter with her little whiteboard, committee, interrogation style. But Swalwell's made a name for himself. He's been on all the shows that people watch, right? He's a national figure. So of course he's going to, pull
Even
really
Dan Bidondi knows who he is.
Right. So of course he's going to poll well early on. That makes perfect sense. It's the same in every race, even local races. It's the same way, right? Like the person who's been in office or who's been in the public eye, right? Some like local bigwig business person or some community leader. They're always going to poll well off the bat. And there's always that candidate who's just got good resources, got money, got a lane, and they just bide their time, and then they jump in when the time is right. And campaigns really don't get going in earnest until all those ads start flying around, and you're not going to see that for at least another few weeks, because folks forget. So no one wants to waste their money now telling people about themselves when the ballots aren't even out yet, right? So it'd be like sort of like Tom Steyer, who no one's going to remember any of these ads except being annoyed by them, like our homeowners association lady.
Yeah. So we got one more. This one's fun. I guess maybe you can, because I threw my piece of paper away, actually. So
yeah, for sure.
So this next story.
So, and another thing, sometimes it's human interest, sometimes it's animal interest, sometimes it's vehicle versus structure. But this week, it's just a very interesting side note about I guess a mistaken identity case involving a piece of property in San Francisco, and we're going to learn more about what's being done with it and how there might be a happy ending.
As the old saying goes, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And one San Francisco couple learned that late last fall when they bought a property that didn't quite match what they had in mind. The pair thought that they were getting a steal at a tax collector auction, a roughly $1 million 2-unit building in the Sunset District for just $25,000. But instead, what they ended up with was Dirt Alley. We brought you their story back in November.
It was devastating. It was absolutely devastating. And we had already celebrated and told our friends, and I went over and said, "Hey, I'm your landlord now," and we're not.
Be like, get the fuck out of here.
So I did $8,000 for $1 million house. I made a check for that because I thought that I was bidding on that, not on this. I wouldn't spend $8 on this. What would I do with it?
Well, now we have an update tonight as the couple tells us that the property has been sold once again. Andrea Nakanu has the latest chapter of this saga.
J.J. Hollingsworth and her husband were not so proud owners of this alley behind their home. They thought they were buying the duplex next door, but it just ended up being the strip of dirt between the two homes. They've been trying to get the city to rescind the deal and get the money back with no luck. Then she heard from a potential buyer.
He wrote me a letter and said, "I'm interested in buying this parcel. I'm an artist for some art."
And your reaction at that time?
Oh, come on. What?
She didn't take the letter seriously at first, but then the buyer called, asking for a meeting.
When he explained that they were going to paint a quilt on the alley, that's when I melted. I just said, oh my God, I'm a quilter.
Hollingsworth then got an attorney to help her through the process. She had the buyers checked out, knowing they had a checkered past.
They were tech bro pranksters, and so that kind of raised a little question mark too. Oh gosh, is this another prank?
So far, it appears to be the real deal. Hollingsworth paid $25,000 for the alley, and she sold it for $26,000. She also had the attorney put in provisions to make sure her and her neighbors still had access to the alley. After months of agony and regret, they were elated to get rid of the property.
It's a great relief, apparently, just we were, counting the days.
We got up out of our chairs and screamed and shouted, and we opened a bottle of champagne, and I don't remember much after that.
The property was even listed on Zillow as sold, a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 850 square foot property for $26,000. Hollingsworth knows she should have read the fine print, but says it was misleading to put the address of the duplex on the documents for the sale.
I think the city needs to learn a lesson. I learned mine, but I think the city needs to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
You can't put something up for sale with the wrong address on it.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's wrong. I don't care how you describe it. You can't put the wrong address on.
The SF Board of Supervisors has rescinded a deal just once. It happened back in November of 2017. The board rescinded the sale of a private street in a neighborhood near the Presidio. Supervisors said that the residents of Presidio Terrace didn't have enough notice before their private sidewalk was sold at auction 2 years before.
I didn't like her at the beginning, and then at the end, she's like, I got like wasted off of half of a bottle of champagne, and I'm like, all right, you're cool.
Me and my hubby, I don't remember what happened exactly, but there was some fun stuff. We ended up,
man, I wouldn't even cop a buzz off of sharing a bottle of champagne with somebody.
No, definitely not. Maybe a doob in the champagne, or maybe a dab in some champagne. Good luck. Hopefully this artist comes in and is able to paint this beautiful quilt and beautify that lovely little alleyway. But yeah, just read the fine print, please. Review the maps. Don't just take Zillow's word for it. If you're going to spend especially if you're going to spend $25,000 or $1 million, like, know what you're buying. Good Lord. But hey, all's well that ends well. They got their money back, and they're going to get some beautiful public art out of it. It looks like, or it'll just stay an alley forever, and at least they got their money back. But yeah, you have, even at an auction, a duplex in San Francisco for $25,000. That's a little bit suspect right there.
No. And like, happening. Even though it's an auction or whatever, especially if it's right next to where you are, you're like, could I tour the property?
Right. 100%. Like before, yeah, anyone would want to do that beforehand. So please be on the lookout for that, and watch what you're doing. Mind your P's and your Q's. And that's Downballot.
All right, cool. Well, this week I'm going to close the show out so that we don't have to give a wide view of your camera and see all the stuff all over the fucking floor.
Stuffies, my friend, stuffies.
Yeah, I haven't read out the show in a while anyway, so I'll go ahead and
you should do it. And again, we're going to be off next week for the fourth Tuesday, but we'll be back the following week with more exciting derp for yourselves. So please read us out, Producer Dave. God bless you.
All right, podcast listeners, thanks for checking out the podcast. Check us out live sometime. We're live several nights a week. Twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you need more information, as the schedule is going to be changing, it's going to be out of town, you could just join our Discord at discord.me/Echoplex. I keep the exact, precise schedule up to date there. I don't know, give us money at patreon.com/Echoplex, and buy a hat at eplex.store. If you're watching live, not a big live viewership tonight, but that's okay. If you're watching live, stick around. We're gonna check out Matt Mahan, Mayor Ed 209, going on the Sam Harris podcast. And if you're listening on the podcast feed, keep your ear to the ground for that showing up on the podcast feed. That'll be showing up probably next week, along with the time that Sam Harris also went and spoke to fucking Andrew Yang. This is Audible Smoke Signal, and I'm not gonna pour a cocktail because there was free beer in the lobby of my building, so I'm gonna drink some free beer, and we're gonna watch this during red light. Peace out.
Time to get the party started. Pick up my phone just to check and see who's calling. Dress up real nice for the ladies at the bar, and I'm driving in my car just to get to where they are. Here at the local scene is where I plant my feet. It's where I smoke my cigarette and I hold my drink. I look at all my friends, they're all blazing greens. Here at the front of the stage, waiting for MTV. Where are those guys who's standing next to me with a pipe in his hand, ready to blaze for me? About 5 minutes later, we're all singing Queen. Now get the fuck up on stage, man, rock the scene, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. I turn and head back to the bar for a refill, man, because you know where we are. We're headed out to the car to smoke another one and another one. Now just when the magic starts kicking in, I hear relapse playing, you know it's time to head in. Alright everybody, now it's time to grab a new drink. Spark it if you got it and then pass it to me. Yeah, we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. Last up on the bill for the show tonight is Down and Dirty at 5, so we're headed outside to spark up another joint. Now who's got my lighter? Stoner E, of course, shouldn't you be inside?
I'm all up in this bitch, being who I gotta be. I'm fucked up like the U.S. economy. The truth is that I don't think logically. Stoner E take you on a psychedelic odyssey. Now inside motherfuckers is rocking me, and outside shit we smoke a lot of broccoli. Rocky the roller, yo, that sexy girl be jocking me. Ain't too drunk to fuck, but I'll probably do it sloppily.
We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band, enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band.
Molly say that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Well, Bob Marley said that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yeah,
we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want to do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want to do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and